So, hello everyone. My name is Matt Fazio. I work at Donnelly-Boland and Associates, and I am now doing another one of these sessions with FIFIC Law Group. We've been partnered with FIFIC Law Group as a company for a very, very long time, but for the past 3 or 4 years, we've been doing sessions with them. And what we want to do is try to hear from you, these small business owners. What are things that you like? What are things that you want to hear about? And after these sessions, we're going to ask you a series of questions in an email and saying, hey, what did you like? What did you not like? What would you like to see in the future? Please, please keep in mind that we really care. We honestly make our presentations based on your feedback. So we like being here for this group, and hopefully this is something that you all are going to find important here today. So today's session is entitled 5 Ways to Level Up Your Small Business Marketing Strategy. I am absolutely excited to be here and talk to a lot of small business owners and people who are working at small businesses. In today's competitive marketplace, it is important to really have a strong handle on your marketing strategy. If you're not sure where to start or you're looking for ways to improve your existing efforts, this presentation is for you. So in this, I'm going to be sharing 5 overarching ways to help level up your marketing, to get better today. What I'm looking for the most is at the end of this 1-hour session, every single person in the room here is going to know where to go. This is the thing that I need to work on next. So whether you're a new business owner or you've been in a business for a while, this presentation should really help, advance your situation. So here's the agenda. We have 5 different things that we're going to talk about today. We're going to be talking about learning how to be found online. We're going to be talking about developing a cohesive brand ethos. We are going to be talking about creating a content strategy, utilizing AI in your marketing, and tracking your efforts for repeatable success. The real new hot button item is going to be AI. So I'm going to do a little bit extra on that, as I'm sure that people who have heard of Bard or ChatGPT or Bing AI are really looking at these things going, well, what is this? What can I learn from this? I see there's already a question in the chat, but the way that I have this set up.
Oh, I answered it for him. He was just asking if the recording would be posted on YouTube.
Yep. So yeah, I had this, this actually brings us into our first question. This is really the only question that I want to go over today. What are you most interested in learning about? We have these 5 different areas: being found online, developing brand ethos, content strategy, AI, and tracking your efforts. What are you most interested in learning about today? Because honestly, one of the things that Claire and I were talking about before this session started, different people have different, different agendas when they're coming here. And I think that that's going to be a big part of this. So I'm going to give about 10 more seconds. There's a lot of people who are answering this. And okay. So it's being split up a little bit into being found online, creating content strategy, and analyzing and utilizing AI. So I will really try to focus on those today. So back, slide. There's always the thing that happens when you have multiple slides open. So sorry about that. That is not the screen that I want. Sorry about this. There we go. Now we're back. Are we back to seeing just the agenda, Claire?
Yep, you're all good.
Okay. All right, no more issues. We're here on out. Okay, learning how to be found online. This is one of the 3 things that you want to hear about the most, so we'll make sure to really cover this. How important is it to be found online? According to a 2020 survey, 97% of consumers searching online to find local businesses. This is absolutely essential because even if you have an awesome referral base, which is wonderful, which most small businesses pride themselves on, you still need an online presence because people want to confirm what they heard to be legit. So you could hear from somebody, oh, you're never going to believe this restaurant. This restaurant is absolutely wonderful. It's so great. It's so wonderful. But then if I go online and I see there's a 2.1 star rating on Yelp, I don't know. Yeah, maybe you had a good experience there, but 1,000 other people didn't have a good experience there. So use your online presence to support the other things that are being said about you in the community. So if you have a small business that a lot of people like and really care about, make sure that that's reflected online. Basic SEO, make sure your website is optimized for search engines by using relevant keywords, meta descriptions, alt tags, or on images. Also, you have to be thinking about backlinks. We're going to be talking about that in a second. SEO, a very, very cursory review, is search engine optimization, the process of improving the visibility of a website or a web page in terms of being searched for online. So this can help a small business attract more visitors to their website. It can increase revenue. It can increase sales, visibility. When somebody types something in on Google, if they should be finding you, your SEO is going to be helping you to do that. You need to make sure that everything online about you has updated, accurate information. If it doesn't have updated and accurate information, you need to get rid of it. So that means all of your social sites. That means if another organization has your name listed, it needs to have the appropriate name. It needs to have the appropriate links. It needs to be going to the same place. A lot of small businesses, what they end up doing is they make their own website, say, okay? And then there's a problem with it, or maybe they change some things up, or they use a new company, but then there are old links to their website on other things because they may have changed it, they may have updated it. You need to make sure that everything online is scrubbed so that everything is pointing into the direction that you want people to go. So the first place to start for this is Google My Business. It's Google. This is essential because this is where people find you. Yes, other people do use some of the other search engines, but more than anything else, people are looking on Google. Google My Business is a free tool that helps small businesses manage their online presence for Google search and for maps. So if you have a physical location, this is how people are going to find you. By claiming and optimizing your Google My Business profile, you can attract more customers, you can drive more traffic to your website, and you can increase sales. So this is absolutely a fundamental thing that you're going to want to do, and it's going to help with your overarching SEO. You should update this frequently. SEO boosts this pages that are updated at least once a month. So if you have things like online sessions, or you don't want to update people on specific things on your page, you can absolutely do that. But even updating the time. So if you were off for a holiday, update your Google My Business page to let people know when you're off. That alone shows Google that you are being proactive, and it helps feed the machine. So let's think about this from Google's perspective. Google cares that you're using this. And the more that you update it, the more that they trust that information to be correct. So you want to make sure that you go on to Google and verify this page. This is the thing, when you type your business into Google, it will bring that up, usually like on a desktop on the right-hand side. And this is how people learn directly about your business. This is a really, really good tool to use. And this is also making sure that this is going to be the most updated information. This picture on the left here is the Donnelly-Boland and Associates page. We have Google reviews over here. What I was saying before about making sure that the way that people talk about you are also the way that you are perceived online. If you have people who love your services, if you have people that love your products, ask them to review you. Say, hey, this is going to mean a lot to me if you come on here and review. So I have been to these sessions before, and I've stood up and asked people here. I've said, hey, you've attended one of these sessions. It was free of charge. If you got value out of it, please go on Google and leave a review. Hit 5 stars, say Matt was really informative and help level up my marketing. Something basic as that. It doesn't have to be a super long review. You don't even have to be a client of Donnelly-Boland and Associates to do that, but that's going to help you pop up to the top when people are searching for things like we're in Baldwin, Pennsylvania, which is just right outside of Pittsburgh. But when people are typing in accountant, when people are typing in consulting, when people are typing in marketing, hopefully we're going to be coming up because of that SEO. So, just a quick tip on this. If you do not have a Google My Business page, claim it now. If you do have a Google My Business page, update it now. And then also you want to leverage those reviews. As you get more and more reviews, start showcasing them on your social pages. Start putting them at the bottom of your mass emails that are going out through something like MailChimp. Very, very basics to some SEO support. One, website builders. At this point, the vast majority of people who are building websites are building them on website builders. So Wix, Squarespace, WordPress, all of the website builders have built-in SEO. That means every single page, every single picture, every single item on your page can be meta tagged. And for example, with Wix, it's going to walk you through step by step every single thing that you need to do to kind of move forward with that. So if you haven't done that already, if you have a web developer, sometimes they're just worried about designing your page. They're not worried about having your page be found. This is critical to being found online, because that's what you're trying to do with your presence online. You want people to find you. You want people to know how to contact you. You want to confirm that you are a real, legitimate, authentic business, and you want people to move on from there to become clients and customers. Number 2 is backlinks. It's truly remarkable how many people I talk to who don't know what backlinks are. And I mean, no disrespect to anyone who doesn't know what those are. But I'm here today to explain to you a backlink is simply your website or a certain page on a reputable site. So if you go and create 10 pages and all the 10 pages talk to each other, there's not a ton that's going to be all that different there. But if you reach out to another more reputable site to reach back out to you, so if you have if you get like a small business listing on the Better Business Bureau or a local chamber of commerce or networking group, or maybe you have a particular industry and you are listed on their grouping of that industry. So if we're listed on a group of accountants, those are called backlinks. And what happens is Google is saying, or any search engine are saying, this website is incredibly authentic and real and one that we care about. So by linking to them, it's giving you more credibility. So developing partnerships and relationships with other trusted sites, other trusted brands, that's incredibly important. And consistency is critical. All of your online information needs to be pointing to the same place. You want people to have that funnel. I am going to use the word consistency about 10 different times in this presentation. And regardless of what we're talking about, one of the overarching themes is consistency, making sure that we're doing the same thing again and again, because that's really what marketing comes down to, hitting people when you need to be hit. Right now, my wife and I are looking into buying a minivan for child number 4. And one of the things that's happening right now, I am seeing car ads everywhere. I hear them on the radio. I see them on YouTube ads. Anywhere I go, I'm seeing and hearing these car radio ads. They're happening all the time. Car ads are some of the most used advertisements in the United States. But I sometimes block them out because I wasn't in the mood or I wasn't in the position to buy a new car. Now that I'm in a position to buy a car, every time I turn on the radio, I can't believe it. There's another sale, there's another deal, there's money back. So that's what consistency does. If you regularly are putting out content and you are regularly, updating your SEO, It's not about finding that person today. It's about finding that person when they want to be found. So that's the end of section 1. Section 2 here is developing a cohesive brand ethos. I know that it might sound a little cumbersome here, brand ethos, but your brand ethos is the soul of your business. It's what makes you different from the competition. It's what connects you with your clients. Your brand ethos is your logo. It's your website. It's your social. But I think that a lot of people kind of understand that. But it's also all of your communications. It's your pricing structure. It's your customer journey. It's the way that you hire new employees. All of those things come together for a consistent brand ethos. This includes everything from the moment someone first learns about your company to the moment that they make a purchase or receive a service and ongoing. So when you are looking at a brand ethos, you need to start with your mission and values. Who are you? What do you stand for? And the reason this is so important is because of the impact. When you create a brand that resonates with your target audience and helps you achieve your business goals. So this is a symbiotic relationship where the more that you're doing to create your brand ethos, the more that is going to be engaged with from a potential client. And it's also going to be a way that they're going to get the most out of your services and use your services. So it's kind of all encompassing in that regard. By ensuring that all of these elements are consistent with your brand ethos, you can create a strong and memorable brand experience that will resonate with the people that you want to resonate with. So brand dissonance. This is when one or more part of your customer journey is not in line with your promoted brand ethos. This is when you say one thing, but then you do another. You say you are the best with customer service, but you have outrageously long wait times. You say that your products are environmentally friendly, and a report comes out that no, they are not. So you want to do and say the things that meet you, and that's who you are, and that's what you do. At Donnelly-Boland, one of our values is innovation. If you came to us and you said, hey, like, what platforms do you use? And we say, we don't use any platforms. We don't use any technology. And it's like, well, aren't you trying to be a part of this innovation? It's like, oh no, we say that. We don't actually do that. It's not just what you say, it's what you do. And that's where I think that brand ethos becomes so important, because when companies, and sometimes we think of these giant, large companies, and that's okay too, but when we think of them, we want to make sure that they're being consistent and clear about who they are and who they're helping. So consistency and alignment. Find as many ways as possible to create consistency across all your branding. All aspects of your brand should work together in harmony. I was meeting with a client recently, and I was talking about the idea of brand ethos and branding, and he said to me, we were meeting upstairs in one of our conference rooms, and he said to me, he's like, I love it, but I have no idea what that means and like where I should start. So it does seem all encompassing, which it is. So the best thing to do is define the items that are most important to your brand, the things that are most salient for you to be able to do to get to the next stage. So first, let's talk about a couple very basic ones: logo and colors. Okay, Coca-Cola is one of the most well-known logos in the world. High quality logo with distinct variations. What I mean with variations is if your logo is horizontal, but all the social platforms need you to have a square, you need to have a variation where there's a square. You need to make sure that you have a consistent branding package. So if you hand somebody a paper or you email somebody something, it's branded in some way. They're your colors. There are your the identifiers of who you are, what you do, kind of thing. So that should be across all channels all the time. Also, tone. Tone is really important. It is the personality of the brand, and it should be consistent across all channels. The tone should be appropriate for the company's target audience and should reflect the company's values. So, for example, inwardly think and say, this is my business. This is who we are. This is who we service. This is what we do. Are you meeting your audience where they want to be met? So different, and sometimes you might have different segments of your audience, but understand that there are times where you need to be the most professional. So let's think about a bank, for example. Banks, and especially people who are managing your assets, your funds, they're going to be super professional all the time because that is part of their brand ethos. That's who they are. That's where they want to be. But also, if you have, a chocolate shop down the street, you want to be much more approachable than that. You don't want to have that same tone. So everything from the text that you use to the voicemail that you have on your cell phone or your business phone when people call in is going to create a certain vibe. And you want to make sure that that tone is consistent throughout. Who are you? What do you do? For those of you out there who have a number of employees, you maybe have 2 employees, maybe you have 30 employees, maybe you have 300 employees. Make sure that the tone of your company is not lost on its employees. This is something that routinely happens with small businesses, that everyone operates independently and there's no cohesion. And you really want to make sure that you have that brand cohesion. Next up, in still a part of this brand ethos, this is the Donnelly-Boland. This is on our website. This is our mission and our values. And on the website, as you hover over each one of these 5 values, it tells you more about each one. But I think that what happens a lot with small businesses is they think that a mission is something for not-for-profit organizations. I'm a small business. I'm a pizza shop. I don't have a mission. Yes, you do. What your mission is your clarity of purpose. A mission statement provides a clear and concise way for you to tell your target audience who you are and what you're trying to do. Why do you exist? Why does your organization exist? What makes you different? A mission also helps with the direction of your company. It helps to answer the question, what are we trying to achieve and how are we trying to do that? And I really like the idea of the differentiation because this helps you differentiate from similar other organizations who are doing something very close to what you do. So for us here at Donnelly-Boland, we are to be recognized as a premier partner for a comprehensive suite of back office services while maintaining a culture that emphasizes family, innovation, and inclusivity. Those are things that are fundamental to this company and what we do, and we need to exude that in what we do. We're trying to be the premier partner for a comprehensive suite of back office services. So if you need something like HR or accounting or marketing, we are there for you and we can support that. And if we can't do those things, then we're not meeting our mission. Also, consider the customer journey. Consider all the various touch points that are going to happen for the entire experience for a potential customer. Because by doing that, you're going to figure out, okay, here are all the points that people are going to help along the line here, and we need to maintain this consistency throughout. And then you also need buy-in. It's not enough for let's say your organization has 5 people. It's not enough for the president, maybe it's you, of the organization to write a mission, slap it on your website and say, see, we did it, and then be done. You need buy-in. You need buy-in from your employees to make sure that they understand what your mission is, sometimes people have visions, what's your vision, what are your values, what are the things that are most important to where you are and where you want to go. Step 3 here is creating a content strategy. Creating a content strategy is one of those big buzzwords that's being used all the time, and very few people actually know what to do. So first things first, you need to determine your goals. And when we're talking platforms here, that second bullet point, identify your platforms. This is not just your social platforms. This is anything that you do to get the word out. Maybe you have brochures and handouts. Maybe you go to trade shows. Maybe you have email marketing that goes out. Maybe you have sessions where you're bringing people into your business, or you're going out somewhere and you're pitching ideas. All of these things are important. But the first thing that you need to do is you need to determine your goals. If you do not have goals, you will not have a good content strategy, because every different thing is going to be supporting different types of goals. So if you're looking to increase brand awareness, so maybe you just want more people to hear about you and to be able to hit a wider audience. You want to introduce people to your brand by sharing your interesting content and engaging with your followers online. Maybe that's a way that you want to do that. Maybe you're trying to generate leads. So maybe you go to trade shows and get people's email addresses and then start a drip campaign where you're regularly sending email marketing out. Maybe your goal is to take your existing client base and sell them your new service. All of these things are incredibly different for content strategy. You need to have a direct, clear approach in mind, because if you don't, then you're not going to be able to meet your goal because you don't have a goal. The third point right here, and I think this is incredibly important to understand, is there are so many different ways to succeed. But the one thing that's linking all of them together is consistency. When I think about people who go on weight loss journeys and say, I did intermittent fasting, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Or I do high intensity reps, I do HIIT workouts, and I work out 3 days a week, and I found incredible success. I've talked to other people who say, you know what, I just make sure I don't overeat, and I have a pretty regimented lifestyle. So I do that. I have other people who say, you know, I walk 3 miles every single day, and that helps. There are all ways that you can succeed. So if you want to increase brand awareness, if you want to generate leads, if you want to direct more traffic to your website, if you want to get sales, all of those things are a little bit different, but ultimately there are 10, 15, 20, 100 different ways that you can succeed, but stick to a plan. Pick a plan that works right now and stick to it. So when you're developing this content strategy, you want to have that in mind right away. When you're thinking about the content itself, you really want to be bucketing things out into value and education and entertainment. Value and education, business ads are not a form of value or education. So going online and saying, let's say you're a photographer, and saying, hey, I'm a photographer, come check it out. And saying like, hey, I have sessions open this weekend. Yeah, that's a call to action, but that's not true value unless someone's definitely immediately looking for that. When you're thinking about things like email marketing and social, you want to be providing value for people. You want to make sure that you're not wasting their time. Focus on telling people the tips and tricks of your trade. What this session is about today, I am literally telling you the things that we use for Donnelly-Boland as well as all of our other clients. These are the tips and tricks that we use. These are the things that help me to be an industry expert and come to bring that to you. So make sure that you're providing value for people, because when you don't provide value, you're just blank space. You want to keep moving things forward. When people see something that's funny online and interesting or engaging, they're more likely to comment and share it. This is why that you want to think also about entertainment. People are more likely to gravitate toward you or have a connection with you when you're being real. This picture right here was taken at a Riverhounds game. And this is a number of our employees along with employees from one of our clients. We took them to a Riverhounds game, and that's it. That's the post. Just said, hey, we enjoyed this with, you know, some of our friends. This is not telling you that we're good accountants. This is not telling you that we know marketing. This is not telling you that we know all the rules for HR. This is showing you that we are real people. and we're here for it. One of the things that I find funniest is that when we started our Facebook page, for the first 2 years into Facebook, our number one post that we had was a post of a couple employees who went to a mini golf event. And we just took a picture together and said, like, a couple of Donnelly-Boland's employees are at a mini golf event. And that had our most visibility, our most likes, our most shares. And it just goes to show you that when you're only thinking about your business and trying to push your services, that's not always what people are trying to engage with. So making sure that you have some entertainment value, that you have some educational value for people, that's what's going to resonate with people. And that's also going to confirm your brand ethos. So now specifically, here are some specific things that you can do for your content strategy. Number one, reverse engineer the process. Work backwards from your content goal and figure out how to get there. So if your goal is to, hey, we need way more people to understand who we are. We've been in business now for a year and we don't have any followers. We don't have any likes. We don't have any shares. People don't know who we are. If that's your goal, you need to post more. You need to start posting more frequently. You need to have a robust calendar. And it's not just about posting more. You need to go on other people's pages and engage with them, because that's promoting an online community. Number two is start small, but expand when you need to. Use online platforms to automate processes and make your process easier. Here we use Metricool. It's not a typo, it's cool. Metricool. There's Hootsuite later. There's a ton of different scheduling platforms you can use. But as you create more and more content, what you can do is you can use a scheduling platform to make sure that you're putting all of those things in the place where they need to be. So when you're looking at a content strategy, you want to make sure that you have a robust amount of content. I would encourage you to even start thinking in terms of, is this educational? Is this entertainment? Is this self-promotion? And there are times where you can use self-promotion. Maybe you have a brick and mortar shop and something's on sale, or you got something new, and that's fine. You can highlight those things from time to time, but not everything should be ads. You need to create ongoing relationships with people. And the final point here is baby steps. Content generation and scheduling is much, much, much more difficult than people think. Set realistic goals and grow. So what I mean by that is, when you're thinking about creating a content strategy, don't say, hey, I'm going to use 10 different platforms. We're going to use TikTok. We're going to use Snapchat. We're going to use Facebook. We're going to use LinkedIn. We're going to do all of these things, and we're going to post on all of these platforms 3 times a day, and we're going to flood the market. You will burn out. Set goals for yourself and grow from there. Say, right now we have a Facebook page, but we really should be using LinkedIn too. So think of 1 or 2 things that you can do and then add from there. And then if you're posting once a week, up that to posting 1 to 2 times a week, and then start upping that to posting 3 times a week, and grow. As you can handle more things, you're going to realize that there's a lot of direction you can go there. Number 4, this is the exciting topic, if you will, utilizing AI in your marketing. I don't know where you've been over the last 3 months if you haven't heard about AI. AI is the ability of machines to learn and think like humans. Over here, this is the image for ChatGPT. ChatGPT was really the seminal program that was put out, and over the last 3 or 4 months, it has just absolutely exploded. How much does it cost? Although some of the platforms like ChatGPT do have paid versions for additional memberships, most of the AI bots have a completely free version to use. So Bing AI, Bard, the Google's version, and ChatGPT all have free versions for you to use. And okay, I don't really totally understand what this AI is, but how can I use this in my strategy? From brainstorming to precision of language to editing and automation, there are plenty of applications for AI in what you do and what you think about. So starting here, I think that that this is a really good starting place for us to look. I put this in the chat. What are 5 things to teach small business owners about the use of AI for their marketing? And this is just a screen recording. Here's what ChatGPT came up with. This was directly on my phone. So you literally have access to high-level information at the tip of your fingers. So here are some of the ways that I like to use AI in our marketing. One, I tend to, over the last month or so, I've started to use AI first before I go to Google. So what ends up happening when you go to Google, you might have to sort through some things and, oh, this is the information that I want, or this isn't exactly the information that I want. And you are kind of going back and forth. With AI, you can have conversations and you can go back and forth. And you say, nope, that's not exactly what I wanted. I want it like this. So let's say, for example, you want to do content strategy. You know that you want to add new factors into what you're doing. So you tell the bot who you are, what business you have. Here's my mission. Here's what we're trying to do. What are 10 different ideas that we can create social posts about? And then it will give you ideas. Or maybe you want to create long form content. You want to post on something like Medium, or you want to release it on your website. And you say, hey, I want to write a piece of long form content. What are some topical issues about my industry right now? And it can spit those things out. So it can help with brainstorming. It can go back and forth with you, and you can always say, nope, that's not what I wanted. And that's what I like about that over Google. So you can say, like, yes, do this, except do this instead. And you can almost have a conversation with it. The next thing here is review and edit content, especially for long form content. AI can really make your writing more precise. So you might be great at the industry that you're great in, but you might not necessarily be a great writer. So this is a way for you to get your ideas out and then put it into something like Bard and say, hey, Bard, please review for grammatical accuracy. Yes, there are plenty of other things out there like Grammarly, but what this is different than is this isn't just fixing your grammatical mistakes or changing from passive tone to active tone, but it's also filling in the blanks. And I think that is, a major piece here. So I think that all of these things can be helping with your overall strategy. So when I'm thinking about ChatGPT, I have these 3 take-home tips for you. If you haven't yet, use one of the chatbots, I would recommend checking it out. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not, I don't know. But I do think that it's worth checking out. For me, these are 3 things that I have come up with and I have seen online, and I've brought these things back to my team here, and we've really found that these 3 are the most important ones to come back to. Specifically on ChatGPT, you can have a unique thread. And once you open up the platform, you'll see that down the left-hand side, there's a thread for the conversations that are going on, and it understands when you're talking about something different now. So you might have a thread that's just called marketing strategy. And you can continue to feed the bot more and more information over time, and you can help that learn more. So treat each thread like a different bot. They don't have all of the same information yet. So you want to make sure that you're able to get those things back. So let's say, for example, you want to create a chat bot that is specifically for your Twitter. Okay. So what you do is you go back onto Twitter and you highlight your last 80 posts. Okay. And say, hey, this is my company's Twitter page, and here are 80 posts. This is the brand ethos that we have. This is the style. This is the tone in which we use. And this is what we want you to replicate moving forward. So now it knows that. And then let's say, for example, let's take FIFIC Law Group. There is a new law that passes, and something that is, boom, right on, and everybody's talking about it. Okay, what's happening with this? And they need to get something back quickly. They can go to that channel and then say, hey, I'm looking for 10 different tweets about this concept. And maybe you also explain the concept a little bit more, or maybe you, depending on what version you have, you might be able to utilize some online sources and then say, what are some things that you have? And then you can look at them, and that's taking out a lot of legwork. We're not talking about necessarily taking out the human element, but it's humans working with the AI. I think that so many people have this idea that AI just means that no humans do any more work. At this time, that is not the case. This is like the next stage of a lot of these things is going to be the people who understand how to leverage and utilize the AI for the greatest benefit. So by doing that, you can go in and say, hey, here are a number of the hot button items. Here are the things that people want to know about. And then maybe you see that and you say, you know what? None of these are really that clickable. None of these, I think people would really want to reshare. So then you go back into that same one and say, hey, can you revise? These are my 3 favorite ones. Can you revise these 3 and try to make them more enticing for people to retweet? And then it will rewrite. And then you can take that and massage that out to being how you kind of want them to be. So that's one way to really try to expedite the overall process of content creation. Number 2, this one is currently my favorite, and this is asking negative questions. Pick apart your writing, your mission, your long form content, your ideas, your brainstorming sessions. What you want to do is you want to push the AI further than it's going. So what I mean by this is, let's say you want to write your own article, you want your own voice, that's totally fine. Put that into Bard and say, hey, what are 3 things that people may misconstrue in this article? And ask, like, not for results, but for reaction. And, this is our company's mission statement. What could be more precise about the language? So by pushing on the AI with the things that you've already done or you've already created, I think that you're going to be able to really leverage that to be precise with your language, to be crisp with your ideas, to be able to wade through all of your ideas and push up the best ideas to the top. So I really, really like this tactic, and I think that it's incredibly helpful to use. Especially if you or other employees at your company have difficulty even writing emails. Don't just tell them, oh, put it in the chat bot and have it write it for you. No, write something, put it in there, and then say, what is confusing about this? And then it's going to come back to you and say, like, this is what's confusing. I'm not sure when the due date is. I don't know, like, I don't know exactly what you want me to do with this information. Is this an FYI, or do I need to take on? Whose responsibilities are these? Very clear and salient directions coming back. Third and final thing to talk about with AI is use AI as a tool. This is right now in 2023. AI is not a silver bullet. It is important to remember that AI is a tool, and it is up to you to use it effectively. However, when used correctly, AI can be immensely valuable as a business owner. This can be something that cuts down a lot of time, because especially for small business owners, you're the person who's going to be doing a lot of the stuff. You don't have a marketing team behind you. You don't have, paid interns. You don't have people all around you doing the work. You're the one doing the work. So the more that you can leverage the AI to help support your work, the better off you're going to be. One of the great ideas that you can do is start looking at things and saying, I write a monthly email to my clients, and every month it takes me 3 hours to write the content for it. Now, because I'm using AI, it takes me an hour and a half. Maybe you go back and forth with the AI. It helps make the process a little bit smoother. That is an immediate impact on you, and you just saved an hour and a half. So I think that it's important for people to remember what the AI is and what it isn't. I do not think we're really all that close to no people working in AI doing everything, an iRobot situation, if you will. No, I also don't think that it's just, oh, well, let's just use AI as the infallible source for everything that's perfect. No, it has its flaws, but AI used with a smart person, with someone very capable, can be incredibly powerful. The fifth and final section is tracking your efforts. This is one that no people in today's session said that they thought that this one was the most important. And I know why it's not the most important, because it's not fun. Tracking your efforts is the tedious thing to do. It's not creating content. It's not creating your strategy. It's not using AI. It's not creating your brand. It's just there, and you have to track things. Tracking things is incredibly important. So even though it's not necessarily the most fun thing to do, it is incredibly important. What is measured gets managed. If you do not measure a task, it is significantly harder to attribute value to it. So if you're going to start a new endeavor for your company, let's say you want to start email marketing, let's say you want to start an Instagram page, you want to start a TikTok, if you don't measure it by anything, how do you know if it worked? Did it work? What were you getting out of it? So I think that the benefits of tracking are immense. You evaluate what is working and what is not working. This can help you make better business decisions. By tracking your marketing efforts, you can see which channels are driving the most traffic and leads, where people are coming from when you're getting new clients, what is happening there. If everyone's coming in and saying, hey, somebody recommended you, but also your web traffic is up, yeah, the recommendations helped, but the web traffic helped as well. So this can also help you identify areas for improvement. By tracking your marketing efforts, you can identify where you need improvement, and this may help you change your messaging, find a different target audience, use a different platform. Maybe we actually have one client who is doing incredibly well on Instagram and really not all that well on Facebook. And right now they're saying, yeah, that's okay. Like, our target market is much more likely on Instagram, so we're okay with that. This can help you make better decisions. Grow your business. Metrics can allow for you to have a pulse on the direction your business is going by focusing on the marketing and communications efforts, making sure that your efforts have a result. Your ROI. Do not make decisions based on anecdotal ideas. Understand the real impact of each decision and each initiative by managing these types of things. I often think with ROI, there are a lot of people who are like, marketing works, just don't worry about it, it works. You need to make sure that you're spending the best use of your time, especially as a small business owner. If you are working at a large corporation, yeah, marketing's going to work and it's a cog in the machine and everything's running with or without you. But as a small business owner, you don't have that luxury. You need to make sure that you're making ends meet right now. Are you doing the best that you can today? Best use of time is determined by you. Be discerning of your time. Schedule things that matter. Prioritize the things that are most important. By setting priorities, you're able to say, this matters and this matters, but these ones don't. Not all marketing activities are created equally. Some will be more important to your business than others. So there might be some things that you do at your business that another business never does, but that's what makes your business unique. Automate when you can. If there are a number of marketing tasks that can be automated, like your newsletter or social post or using the AI, make sure to leverage those as best as possible. And honestly, outsource when you can't do it yourself. If you say, hey, I'm doing the work right now, but I am completely booked. I don't have time to manage social. I don't have time to manage my website. I don't have time to manage my Google My Business. I don't have time to manage my email marketing. Outsource it. Okay. this is not a hard sales pitch whatsoever, but if you need something done on a fractional basis, that's what places like Donnelly-Boland exists for. We can work with you to make sure that you're spending the time doing what is the most valuable thing for you. And your time should be more, it may be more valuable for you to do what you need to do to grow your business rather than some of the behind the scenes marketing support. And then the last thing here, based on tracking metrics, is use built-in trackers first. Social channels, a lot of them already have the built-in metrics. Email marketing, if you're using something free like MailChimp, it's going to tell you what you're getting clicks on, what you're not. Web metrics are all a good place to start. I strongly encourage for people to track things over time, create a dashboard, see how you're doing from month to month, quarter to quarter, year to year. Not everything is going to change overnight, but let's say, for example, you do have the capacity, you do have the time, and you want to start doing email marketing, and you are routinely getting a 5% open rate, meaning only 5 people out of 100 people that you're sending it to are even opening it. That's not great. So you need to make sure that that number changes. What's happening? Is it going to spam? Do people not know that it's actually you? Do you not have catchy enough headlines? What is it that's making people not want to open this? And then the last thing here is be decisive. If you are performing a task routinely that does not bring you value, you must change it. Hear that again. If you are performing a task routinely that does not bring you value, you must change it. That does not mean you have to get rid of it. That does not mean you have to, do something entirely different. Maybe it's a small alteration, but you need to do something different about it. So if you're posting every single day on Facebook and you're getting 1 like every single day, and it's always from your neighbor, Susie, who's really nice, but it's not really getting you the visibility that you want, it's a waste of your time. Small business owners especially have to be incredibly discerning on what they spend their time on and what they don't. So be clear about that. So that was a heck of a lot of me talking. Here are 5 takeaways from today. If you haven't already, claim and verify your Google My Business listing. This is one of the most immediate things that's going to bring you value right away. And if you have a Google My Business listing, make sure to update it routinely. Number 2, create a company mission. Make sure that even if it's a small mom and pop shop, you have a direction and goal for what you're trying to do. Everything else is going to be influenced by your company mission. Number 3, determine your goals for your external content. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to get more followers? Are you trying to get more leads? Are you trying to get more business? Are you trying to promote online community? All of these things are going to have slightly different paths. Make sure that you determine your goals. Number 4, create an AI account. If you haven't already, check out one of them. I typically use ChatGPT and Bard most. I got a big Bing account, but that is, to me, the worst of the 3. I think ChatGPT is the best. However, I think the interface of Bard is really nice, and I've been reading a lot that Bard is going to be making some significant upgrades in the upcoming months. Go and see if this is worth it. It is absolutely worth you to take a couple hours, create an account, see what it can do, and think about ways that this could impact your business. 5th and finally, track your efforts for repeatable success. What you can do with the metrics that you manage could be incredibly important for your business. Make sure that you're doing everything you can to leverage the time that you spend, and make sure that you have that ROI on the things that you're doing. So I'm going to open things up now to questions, but this is my contact information. You'll also get this in an email later, but if anyone's looking for questions, support, help, I'm always available. So that's where we are now.
Thanks so much, Matt. That was an awesome presentation. I was especially listening closely with the AI stuff, because that's something I've personally been looking into a lot more now. And yeah, like you said, it's here. You want to be an early adapter, because that's going to be what's your competitive advantage for sure if you start using that before.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. I actually just gave a presentation last week at Point Park University for instructors about how to use AI. It is something, it's something that's not going away. And if you see a couple newspaper articles and say, wow, I don't know what this can do, take a closer look. I think that it really does have some impact.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but I'm here for questions. So if people have questions, feel free to ask them in here now. I went over a ton of information after creating this presentation. I kind of wish that I did 4 tips to level up your marketing, because I ended up going over a ton of content here. But really what we're here for is to make sure that we're providing content, we're providing value, we're making sure that there's a value for you to come back next time. And I see a number of familiar names here, and that's always great to me, because that means you've seen me before and you said, you know what, that's worth my time. So just like you want to do with your social content, you want to make sure that your social content is worth people's time, even if it's for a 10-second video, but that's a way for that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the Google My Business stuff too. We have a 2-part webinar series for our title agency coming up just on that. So like you said, all the 5 things, there's so much information packed into here. You could have made 5 different presentations, especially on the AI.
So we have somebody on staff here who manages all of our clients' Google My Business pages. And one of my favorite tiny little anecdotes was one of the not-for-profit organizations we work for. They didn't have a page set up, and we said, hey, we're going to do this for you. And they're like, well, what is it? And we explained it to them. They're like, is it really that worth it? And we're like, yes, it's worth it. Do you really need to update it? Yes, you need to do it. And within like a month, the person called me and was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how many new people found us. Like people used to be calling us for directions, and now they can just find it on Google. And it's like, I know. So it's a way for people to reach out to you.
Oh, totally. Oh, here, Jimmy asked a question. I can answer that live.
Yep.
The first part of the 2-part webinar series is on April 27th. I think it's at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And then the second one is at the beginning of May. I'm forgetting the exact date, but yeah, and that's through Clover Lane Settlement, our title agency. But yeah, just to show you, so you can do a 2-part webinar series on just one little part of the presentation. It's crazy.
Yeah, one of the last ones that I did here was I talked about like what type of content to create and what you should be doing with that stuff. So I think that this is like, I didn't really want to spend too much time on the types of content, because again, all of these things we could do entire sessions on.
Yes. There's lots to do in the world of marketing, but yeah, like you said, you have to kind of figure out what your goal is and pick what you're going to focus on, because you can't spread yourself too thin. Like you said, you'll get burnt out for sure.
Yeah. Well, right after this session, all of the attendees will be receiving an email from us at Donnelly-Boland. We put the webinar, the YouTube link to the webinar in it. And then we also have that little thing for questions, where it's a quick survey, takes you 2 minutes, what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you want to see in the future, because this is always a really great opportunity for you to say, hey, I would like to see something on accounting or on HR or on operations or on marketing. And I think that that can really help us go into our content creation and figure out the direction we want to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we don't have anything else, thanks so much for having me, Claire. And looking forward to more sessions in the future.
Yeah, so am I. Thank you guys. Thank you, everyone.